Sweet. All right. We are recording. We are live. That's good stuff. So I'm going to, I want to see if I can find this. Where's it at? Great job. Those of you turning your homework. And I wanted to just read a couple of letters to you. A couple of things I wanted to point out and talk about in the class today. First things first, let me see. I want to respond to Sue Calver real quick. She asked a question related to prospecting. She was wanting to get kind of my ideas on her numbers real quick, and I don't mind. That's not what this class is all about, but I don't mind responding. Let me see. Trying to find her email, sorry. So she was showing that in a week she'd made 691 dials. Great job, great job. She had about 50 conversations, which is good, depending on what lead you're calling, whether you're calling on your leads 2 times or 3 times, 5 to 10% is what you're looking for. And number of people who should go into pipeline. She says 50 conversations, so I'm not certain what she means by that. That should be 50 people that she was able to read the script to. Right beside it, though, she said 37 people looking for a job. 8 people went to the video, 1 person to the webinar. I'm not certain what's going on here. It does look like, by the fact that she said 50 conversations, and I know this is going to be on the recording, so she'll be able to hear this. It's looking like, by the fact that she says 50 conversations, 37 looking for a job, it almost looks like she nexted them or she thought they weren't qualified. 8 of them went to the video, meaning out of the, and that looks like it's about right, out of the 37, 8 would be what? 45. 45 went to the video. I'm not certain what happened to the rest in there, and only 1 person went to the webinar. Okay, that's numbers too small. 8 to the video, 1 to the webinar. It's too small, but that's a reasonable number. I mean, you would like to see what her numbers are when she gets 80 people to the video, how many go to the webinar. But 1 out of 8 after they've seen the video, that's not crazy. The bigger concern is she had 691 dials, only 8 people saw the video. So, and I mentioned this just in case someone else is doing this. It looks like out of 691 dials, 50 conversations, there should be 50 people in the pipeline. Ladies and gentlemen, your job is not to look for a reason to next people. Most of the people who get started with you in business are going to be people who were originally looking for a job. The overwhelming largest percentage of people who get started with you in business don't have the money to afford it, and they were not looking to start a business. That is, in fact, that's true for a lot of you. A lot of you were not looking for a business when you got started marketing the coastal packages. So then you started building out your coastal business. So that's important to remember. And I don't know if she's doing that. And I had replied back to her email and I hadn't gotten back from her. I hadn't heard back from her yet. But if she's next, and if she's assuming that the 37 people looking for a job aren't qualified, that's probably where her sales are. A sizable percentage. It doesn't mean that you can't find someone who's looking for a business, specifically looking for a home-based business. But keep in mind, Danny Johnson, back when technology wasn't even as good as it is today, they were advertising in newspapers when you could do that in the employment section for jobs, meaning they weren't even trying to present it as a business. People were showing up for a job and for a job interview. And then when they left, they found out their job interview was a business opportunity that cost $5,000. So keep that in mind. If you're, so it's important to just make certain that you're not, people will next themselves. You don't have to next them. If you're using Danny Johnson's script, Danny's script and our video is designed to take somebody that has a job mentality and slide them over, if they're open to it, slide them over to wanting to, operate, run, have a business. And in fact, when you have 8 people to the video and only 1 person goes to the webinar, it's probably because out of 8 people you got to the webinar, chances are 3 or 4 of them didn't answer the call, when you call back. Why? Because they weren't looking to work in the travel industry. They weren't looking to have a business. They just wanted to make $6 or $7 an hour working for someone else. That's fine. They nexted themselves. But then, you know, out of the 3 or 4 that were probably there on the follow-up, you know, 2 or 3 get scheduled for the webinar, 1 shows up. That's totally normal. So what I would recommend, so if you're having 50 conversations, it should be 50 conversations reading the script on page 16 out of the script book. And then those people are going to, you know, go to the video. And a sizable percentage should go to the video. Practically all of them, almost 80%, 90% or more will go to the video, because a lot of them you're going to take to the video right when you're on the phone with them. And you're going to know they get to it because you're going to, you know, get off the phone knowing they're looking at the video, and you'll call them back within 15 to 20 minutes. So just covering that. But here's the thing, what Sue's got going for her is she's doing solid work. I mean, she's got her days down here, 137 dials one day, 9 conversations. Hopefully she starts putting 9 people in the pipeline now. 128 dials, 8 conversations, 113 dials, 12 conversations. Those are daily numbers. Those are solid numbers that absolutely have the potential to get you to a 6-figure income and beyond. No question about it. All right. So now what I want to do is there's a couple of people that I want you to hear their letters. I enjoyed reading through these letters a lot. And it's the thing that I like the most about this class. And it's the thing that takes the most time, going through and reading everybody's letter. And I read every single one of them. Sorry, I'm looking for the one I want to read. I read every single one of them. It's one of the reasons why I kept this class small, because I knew it would take a lot of time to read through. Sorry, I'm looking for the one I wanted to read. This Portia, by the way. Where'd it go? Oh, I was looking for an attachment. That's why hers isn't an attachment. Okay, this is good. I want to go through this with you because the people who did the best with this are the ones who had the most details, used the most imagination. It's the details of your life that makes your goals, your dreams, your purpose, the life you want to live real. It's your ability to visualize what you want to have and take ownership of that visualization. Listen, some of you talked about kids and grandkids that aren't even born yet, and that's incredible. That's you taking ownership for where you're going. And you've got to be able to take ownership for your goal. You got to be able to think about your goal. You got to be able to dream about your goal. You got to believe in the dream. Nobody else can do that for you. You have to believe in your dream. And when you see someone putting in specific details, of course, Portia knows enough to know that she doesn't know all those details for her life, but she has to at least plan for the details in her life. That's important, and that's what you have to understand. So let's go through this, because her details are incredible here. And if you don't know this, I'm going to go ahead and say this, and I hope it's okay that I say this. Portia does not have kids, and she has been told medically that she cannot have kids. But she chooses to believe otherwise, and you're going to see how strong her faith is in that in this letter. Her letter was to her husband, December 10th, 2048. Hey, babe. Wow, it's been a while, huh? 35 years of marriage. Did you ever think we'd make it this far? I sit here in Aspen, Colorado, in the beautiful mountains at our mountain house with my girlfriends and our daughter, reminiscing on the past 35 years of our lives together. It's been awesome to have this short little getaway before our upcoming wedding vow renewal in a few days on the 14th. Amelia Grace says she's really proud of us for making it this far. I am too. I hope you're enjoying your time away with your bros and James. I can't wait to hear all about it. It's freezing outside. Not enough blankets and fuzzy slippers to help, LOL. It's like 13 degrees. We're going skiing in a few days. Black Diamonds and I are like BFFs. Crazy, right? You remember years ago when I yelled at you for making me go on the wrong bunny hill and I fell and totally embarrassed myself? Well, that is history, because I can do Black Diamond runs with ease. Thank you so much for believing in me and pushing me past my comfort zone. I'm so excited for another week in Paris next week. It's going to be so much fun. I had a great time last time, and I just want to taste the delicious pastries and food all over again. I'm in the middle of Tom's program for like the 100th time. So make sure I bring my weights. This six pack at almost 60 has to be maintained, baby. These muscles are not going to lose their thunder. His meal plan has really done wonders on me, and I remember when I used to not be able to even lift 5 pounds without being in pain. I have definitely come a long way. I used to not even believe that I would have the life that we have today. Gorgeous house in Cherry Creek, fully loaded Tijuana, whatever that is, Tijuana, sorry, for family trips, personal workout room, debt-free, too many investments to count. We're literally financially free. At one point, I thought I would never leave that job in Stapleton. All the nights I came home exhausted, frustrated, with no encouragement. I felt beat up and hated waking up to my alarm every day just to go into a place that had no hope. Coastal saved us. I mean, it saved us. We were going nowhere fast, and then it just changed everything. I struggled for years in the home business industry, but you never gave up on me. You always told me to keep pushing and keep going, and because of you, we have the life we have today. I've been able to lead OJT calls. I'm giving back in leadership. My numbers are steady. I have a huge team, and we're all a family. Most importantly, I overcame my fear, other objections, and I tapped into Sprouts, finally, and here we are today. Dream Escapes is estimated to do $750,000 this year. I'm truly in awe. Oh, by the way, I had a truck day a few days ago. I didn't tell you yet, but can you believe it? It was all about belief. You're always so right. There's no greater bliss than waking up each morning on my own time, eating breakfast, going for a run or doing a workout, taking a shower, spending time with the Lord, doing my personal development, and taking the world by storm with my dials. My advertising is easily paid for, and we've made millions with our coastal business. Steady income, ever growing. Sure, we have ups and downs, but I truly have a successful business. And not just that, it's enabled us to do so much more. We're traveling to Paris, Italy, Europe, all over the world. And that Alaskan cruise with family was simply incredible. I can't even believe it. It's given us the freedom to do what we've always wanted. I finally got the time to practice, audition, and to be accepted into the Denver Philharmonica. I think that's right. Playing Christmas concerts and seeing the look on my mom's face when we start Carols of the Bells is priceless. Oh, and I brought my violin for the weekend. You know I can give up a little showing off of my, I can't even pronounce that, skills, right? I gave a lesson to Abigail, our granddaughter. She really has some talent. I know she gets it from me. I finished up the last couple of stitches on After the Rain. That work is so bursting of beautiful reds, blues, yellows, and oranges, is ready to be framed. That'll make 7 heaven and earth designs cross-stitch projects so far. That will make 7 heaven and earth design cross-stitch projects so far. My group page is booming, and we're all set to go for the challenges for next year. Everyone is so excited. Slowly but surely, the side YouTube income from the stitching channel is coming in. Speaking of money, I did that $1 million match that we talked about. I wrote it right to Pastor Jeff at church. His mouth literally dropped. He was stunned. I don't know if he was surprised that we made that much money, or if he was surprised we would donate such a large sum. Haha, I'm not sure, but I can't describe that feeling. To be able to have the freedom and to change the kingdom of God with that. I truly feel that is what we are called to do. I was feeling extra crappy a few days ago and decided to make a crap using all of my medals for my races. Our 5Ks, the Boston Marathon we did, in the Aspen race, that was insane. I truly feel invincible after that one. What about you? Pretty impressed that I whipped your butt on that 11-minute mile in the last marathon. I owe it to all of my running coach, Eileen, I think. She whips my butt in training to whip your butt in times. I have a couple of 14ers I want to do with you for the weekend after our 35th anti-vows. I can feel the wind chill brace my face, smell the fresh pines in the mountains, and feel the crunch of the gravel as we hike in the Rocky Mountains. And of course, I can taste the delicious bacon double cheeseburger that is a reward when all is said and done. Yep, 35 years, and some things never change. LOL. Went hiking with the Grands, Abigail, Samuel, Aspen, and Amelia Grace. Guess who was the first one to the top? 59-year-old me. I still got it, baby. I will never let Millie live it down. I'm still cracking up about it. She got some fire in her, though. I'm sure she'll give me a run for my money next time. I just finished my wash and go. It is the bomb. The hooded dryer is what's up. I'm so happy to have made the investment years ago. Don't worry, my hair will still look fly for our renewal. No, I won't forget the daring smoky eye just for you. Going to those classes really changed everything for me. I'm so confident in my hair and nail skills. The 30-day detox set the pace for me to have a healthy mane of hair. I'm working it chilly. That reminds me, I have to tell you, Abigail was sitting on my lap the other day, and we were rummaging through old pictures, and she saw those pictures of that fitness camp I was in. She goes, Grandma, is that you? I told her, now, I might be a little more round around the edges than I was then, honey, but I still got it, baby. Just ask Grandpa. She promptly ran away. Ew, all down the hallway. Children these days. Haha. There was such a blessing, though. We tried for years to conceive, and finally James Michael and Amelia Grace were here. Do you remember that day, babe? My swollen ankles and wobbling all around the house, and then my water broke. Lord, you would have thought I was dying. I was so freaked out. But to see those beautiful hazel eyes of Millie looking up at us on that first day of her existence, oh, glory to God in the highest. I'll never forget squeezing your hand and squeezing it at the top of my lungs as this massive but yet tiny human being somehow made its way out of my hoo-ha. LOL. Chili and I don't know how I did that twice. Child. Oh, I read it now. Sorry about that. Child, I don't know how I did that twice. I don't know how you did that twice. Your poor hand about got sprained the first time, but you've always been there. Snowden and Bentley, our pups, are doing great at Mel's house. She's been watching them and says Snow is having some anxiety because we've been gone so long. But she's slathering some oils on him and says he'll be okay. Bentley's just tired and eats a lot. Poor thing is getting so old. Can we please bring them on our trip? Also forgot to tell you, I'm writing another book. The first one did so well, I have to do a second one. I'm thinking something on belief or mindset. I don't have all the kinks worked out, but my fans are wanting another. We have to give the people what they want, right? Anyway, I'm so excited to see you in a few days and renew those vows that we made so long ago. Every time I think about our marriage, it is seriously so miraculous. From fighting daily to loving passionately to honoring one another, we never gave up. We kept going through it all. Through the debt, the business failures, the ups and downs, the hated jobs, the negative pregnancy tests, the frustration, all of it. We made it, and we are here. We have grown so much over the years, now, and I wouldn't rather be with anyone else. Thank you so much for who you are and who you've grown me to be. You've built me up when I've torn myself down. You've loved me when I've hated me. You've encouraged life in me when I wanted to meet the face of death. Here we are, multimillionaires, investments to retire on, fit, healthy, masters at our craft, and we have it all. It's all because we never gave up. I started to believe, and I created a vision. I mapped out our destiny, and I created it into what it is today. It all started with 11 grand, and look where it ended. Seriously, priceless. Well, it's 4 p.m. and I got to get over to my office to train those new team members I was telling you about, and I'm leading the LIW tonight. What a blessing to live this life. I love you forever and always. I'll see you on the 14th. To 35 years and beyond, till the death do us part. Your wife, Portia. That was incredible. Notice the detail, how real it was, how vivid it was. That's the start of taking ownership. Nobody can make you take ownership. I can't make you believe in yourself. But the start is being able to create the fullness of the vision that you want to have. If you can't even create the vision, how can you have the vision? You have to first create the vision. That was good. Now, as I went through, some of you, well, let me actually just show you this. I'm going to come back to Portia. Annie is, she gave a great example of this. A lot of you, as you went through, what you did was I should say we, because I did this the first time I went through this exercise, first couple times I went through this exercise. And I still struggle with this, and I'm going to share with you a technique that I use. Portia did this, by the way. Portia has got so many goals she wants to accomplish in year 1, 2, 5, 3, whatever, 10, 20. I mean, she's got like a Santa Claus list all the way down every single year, it seems like, that she wants to accomplish. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's good. But what I find is that we oftentimes overcomplicate or create much higher expectations early in our goal list, or I should say our life list. And towards the end, we don't do as much. This is normal in business, by the way. This is super normal. And this is super normal in so many areas of life. I could just think of several that aren't even related to this right now. But one example was I saw a YouTube channel. It's just a random stupid YouTube channel. But and I don't even know how it showed up in my news feed because I'm not into sneakers at all, but it's a sneakers news channel. And the guy was talking about his channel, and he had started 7 months ago, and he was thanking his subscribers. I don't care about shoes. It's fashion. I have no idea why this channel came up, probably so I could make this point to you. But he said that in the past 7 months, we've grown this channel to 3,300 subscribers, which I have helped YouTubers grow channels. That's solid. That's good. Without anything going viral, that's a good growth. But then I happened to glance down, and I realized this was in 2016 when he started his channel. We're in 2018 now. That was 7 months. In about a year and a half or 2 years, without doing the exact math, the channel was up to 300,000 subscribers. So there are so many things in life where there becomes an exponential aspect to growth. And it's hard to define that. And I can tell you that's true for your business. I can tell you right now, if you're reading the script, if you're putting 30 people a week in the pipeline, that's a good solid number that's going to get a lot of people to a six-figure income. A lot of people are going to get 6 figures. Some will get a little less, some will get a little more, but just depending on how many people come in at, Premier and Platinum and how many qualifying sales you end up getting from that. But 30 people a week in the pipeline, which is 6 a day in the pipeline. But I mean 30. I don't mean 20 and I don't mean 40. I mean 30. So here's what will happen. If we understand that 30 a week in the pipeline can get a lot of people to a six-figure income, then by that logic, sometimes we'll think, well, if I put 15 a week in the pipeline, I should do 50,000. It's not true. If you only put 15 people in the pipeline, you'll do far less than 50,000. There's an exponential effect that occurs as you're building your business. And I can give you some ideas on why I think it occurs in your business, but I can't give you all the details. Just like if you put 30 people a week in the pipeline and you decide, you know what, I'm going to go gangbusters. I'm going to put 12 people a day and I'm going to put 60 a week in the pipeline. All things considered equal now, you would think, well, if 30 will do 100,000, 60 people a week in the pipeline should get me to 200,000. It's not true. 60 people a week in the pipeline, all things considered equal, if 30 would get you 100,000, 60 is going to get you some multiple more. You may hit 300, 500,000, literally, because there's an exponential effect that takes place. There's a lot of reasons why that occurs. One is you're seen as a leader. A lot of your team members want to attempt to copy what you're doing. Most will copy some percentage less. So if you're putting 30 people a week in the pipeline, they're going to put 10. But those same people that are doing 10, if you were doing 60, those same people might do 20. I mean, it's just kind of how it works. That's just one example. The other one is you're going to be making sales more often. You're going to have more stories of people succeeding. Without even trying, you're going to be sharing that more with team members just because it's going to come up in conversations. That sort of thing creates inspiration. Inspiration creates that belief in people, and it's that motivation and enthusiasm. People will go to work for inspiration more than anything else. So there's another component that can create that exponential growth. This is true in so many areas of our lives. And for many of you who have teams that you're building, one of the things that you'll notice is that a lot of times if you do goals reviews with people, they'll say the crazy things, and they don't even know they're doing it. They'll say the first 30 days in business, they want to, make like 30 grand. In their first year in business, they want to make $150,000. Anybody know what the problem is with that? Let's see. Let's do this real quick. Someone give me some feedback. I think you're all unmuted. Hey, Sue, there you are. Someone give me some feedback. If someone says that their goal, I didn't realize how funky that was. If someone says that their goal is to make $30,000 in the first month, but they want to do $150,000 in the first year, someone tell me what the problem is with that. Give me your name. Anyone? I think you're all unmuted.
Gary.
Hey, Gary. There you are. What's the problem with that?
Well, if they're making $30,000 the first year, if you multiply that by 12, that's a whole lot more than $150,000. So apparently they're slowing down by the end of the year.
Exactly. Everybody tends to overestimate what they want to do early on. This is like a human nature that we have. They overestimate what they want to do early on, but then what they end up doing is they don't give themselves enough credit what they can do in the long term. And ladies and gentlemen, this is a rhetorical question. what do you have more of, short-term or long-term life left? You have a lot more long-term life left. So give yourself a little bit of a break, and don't feel like you got to accomplish the world in just one day, or 1 month, or 1 year. So let me see where we're at. Let me bring that back up. Oh, not there. Not there. So let's look at Annie for a minute, by the way. There's nothing wrong with Annie's goals, but I just want to make this point. Annie said in year 1, she wants to lose weight, be in the best of health. And you need to make that more specific. Lose weight, be in the best of health. What does that mean? How much weight do you want to lose? She wants to have 10 new people in her business by next year, be able to visit extended family in India every year, bond with my nephews, instill in them family values and godly values, take a family vacation every 6 months, grow my hair long and have flawless skin, stay fit, build more muscle, live a disciplined life when it comes to exercising and nutrition, be able to travel out of Atlanta once every month, visit Israel, marry Nikki. All right, that's year 1. Nothing wrong with those goals. They're all possible. I would tell her to go back and make them more specific. Just how Portia made her letter was extremely specific. Your goals need to be as specific as possible, like lose weight. How much weight do you want to lose, Annie? And be in the best of health. What does that mean? Is there a way to measure that? It may just mean you want to lose weight. Be able to visit my extended family every year. Okay, great. How long do you want to be able to visit them every year? You got to have a specific, dynamic goal. It doesn't happen. Everything worth accomplishing in life happens by intention. Bond with my nephews and instill in them family values and godly values. What does that mean? How much you want to spend time with? It probably means you want to spend time with them. How much time you want to spend with them? Take a vacation every 6 months. Great. How long do you want to be gone every 6 months? What kind of budget do you want to have for that? You got to have a plan of what that looks like. Stay fit and build more muscle. Okay, great. What does that look like? Are you looking to be able to lift a certain amount? What does that mean? You want to be working out X number of times a week? What does that mean? Live a disciplined life when it comes to exercise and nutrition. Great. What does that mean? Be able to travel out of Atlanta once every month. What does that mean? Visit Israel. When? Well, this year, obviously. How long do you want to go? Marry Nikki. Great. Make sure Nikki's ready to get married. But that was her year 1. But if we scroll down, and by the way, in her case, she got her goals did get bigger, but they became far less. And all of a sudden, by year 15, build a vacation bungalow near the beach for all my family members to vacation. And year 20, build many businesses worldwide and nationally. Okay. And if she accomplishes all that in year 1, she shouldn't have any problem accomplishing year 10, 15, and 20. And maybe part of it is she's like, well, I guess I need to think about what I want to be doing in 20 years. And I get that. But a lot of you made the same thing where you were super aggressive in your year 1, year 2. And there's nothing wrong with that. But if that's what you're looking to, here's the thing. Some of you are looking to accomplish in your first year more than you've accomplished in your 30, 40, 50 years on this planet so far. So with that being said, I'm not going to tell you to shrink back your goals, but here's what I'm going to tell you: to prioritize what you want to accomplish. If it's year 1, great. Annie's talking about losing weight and health. That's a big deal for her. Vacationing is a big deal for her. Putting 2 people on her is a big deal for her. Okay, those are several things that are like that accomplishes that. Those 3 things include about 60% of her goals here. Then she's got to prioritize what's the absolute most important thing that she wants to get accomplished. It's important that you understand that you have 2 to 4 major weaknesses in your life that are currently holding you back from most of what you want to accomplish. And this is true for most people. Most people only have 2 to 4 major weaknesses. Maybe it's they're poor time managers and they like to procrastinate all the time, whatever it is. Maybe they're lazy. I don't know. Maybe they're judgmental, they critique themselves, whatever. There's 2 to 4 major weaknesses that most of us have that hold us back tremendously. It doesn't mean they're the only weaknesses you have. These are the weaknesses that continue to cause you to, run into a brick wall in your life. It's the thing that causes the most frustration. Well, listen, if you focus on mastering just one of those weaknesses, just one, and you get it mastered, and you absolutely knock it out of the park, then you've mastered a major obstacle that's been in your path and continues to stay in your path. but you've got to do everything you can to master that one thing. So for example, let me back up a little bit. I want to get ahead of myself. Losing weight, that's her goal. Okay, if that's her highest priority, then what did she do today? If she didn't do anything to lose weight today, she doesn't need to wait to January 1st. She needs to start tomorrow, tonight. Some of you know that my wife has lost a tremendous amount of weight. The moment that I knew that my wife was serious, because her and I had started and stopped working out several times. The time that I knew that she was serious was on Wednesday. She said, I'm working out today. And I said, why don't you wait till Monday? She said, if I'm serious about getting in shape for the rest of my life. Now, she told me this, she's telling me this almost 300 pounds at the time, 288 pounds. If I'm serious about losing weight, I'm not going to wait until Monday. I'm going to start today. And I was like, oh, okay. And that was really the moment that everything changed for her. So you've got to get serious about what you want to accomplish, and you've got to own it. Are you serious, for example, about losing weight? She wants to get 10 people in her business next year. Okay. Then what does it take to get those 10 people in her business next year? She's got to make a decision. What is she doing tomorrow? First of all, she needs to figure out, if I want 10 people in my business next year, about how many people do I think, or about, she can look at her past activities. She's tracked her numbers. Hopefully she has. If you're in business, you should be tracking your numbers. Hopefully that she's got some idea about how many people she's talking to, how many people she's setting up with marketing systems, and what is taking her to make a sale. If she doesn't have those numbers, then she's got to give it her best guess. And then she's got to track her numbers. And between every month, every quarter, she's got to be able to look at her numbers and understand where she's at. And figure out, is she on track to hit that goal, and what does she need to do to make changes to make certain that she can hit that goal. And so that's what you've got to do with every area of your life. You've got to be willing to take an inventory of what you're doing. Most people are not willing to do this. They're not willing to face the hard things. They're not willing to get serious about their goals. They're not willing to own their goals. And the problem is sometimes they don't believe their goals. You know, there's all this training out there that tries to get you to believe who you are and everything else. And, you know, there's this, you know, you've got to, what do they call it? Not chant. Oh my goodness. Affirmations. The problem with affirmations is about having you have a focus. Affirmations is about helping grow your belief. But what affirmations end up doing is being in a place of convincing. It's about convincing you, you know, I deserve success. I deserve success. You deserve success. You deserve success. So then it goes from you deserve success to you deserve success. You deserve, like you should be able to have success. I'm just using that as an example. That's convincing. That's taking ownership of lack of belief. The only reason you're doing that affirmation is you're literally reaffirming your lack of belief with that affirmation. And so affirmations, unfortunately, get used poorly or wrongly and that sort of thing. And I don't practice affirmations. I just understand the benefit of them and what they're for. And if you practice affirmations, great. Make certain you practice them the appropriate way. And that is taking ownership and going through an exercise that builds belief. So, for example, if Annie's goal is to get 10 new people in her business next year, what steps is she taking? Is she talking about it? What is she planning? You know, to be able to get 10 new people in her business next year. What steps is she taking to plan that? You know, she wants to lose weight. Great. What is she doing now to plan to be losing weight? You know, what, and here's the thing, and I'm not going to put Annie on the spot on this, but she wrote this the end of last week. If this is her vision for herself in the next 12 months, then I hope from the moment that she wrote this that she took serious steps toward this. Otherwise, we're just going through a fun exercise, and it makes us feel good that we get to say that we're working on improving ourselves. Look, I'm not here because I want you to feel good about improving yourself. I'm here because I want you to make a life-altering change forever. Unfortunately, some people feel good about going through a process without ever actually getting anything done. It's not good enough that you're in business. Look, it's not even good enough that you're making dials. And it's not even good enough that you're having conversations. It's what are you ultimately getting? What results are you creating? And what a lot of people do is they get frustrated with their business and they start focusing on what's not going right. No, the way you improve is you first focus on what's going right. You focus on the sprout. This is what I'm doing. This is what I'm achieving. You know, if you want to talk to more people, if you want to build a business, then you've got to know what it takes to build the business. and you've got to be focusing on building that business. No, it's not going to be perfect. Yes, you're going to have struggles. Some people struggle a lot. So what? The struggle is part of the journey. It's part of the refiner's fire. The reason that you're struggling, what's holding you back in an area that you feel like you're struggling, whether it's time management, whether it's people skills, first of all, you've got to be honest with yourself to figure out what is holding you back. You've got to get rid of the ego that says that I shouldn't be struggling this much because I'm smarter than this, because I know better. No, you're not smarter than that. And no, you don't know better. And because you think you're smarter, because you think you know better, because you think you should be doing better, this isn't the only area. This weakness, this ego in this example, I'm just showing you an example, by the way. This isn't the only area that it holds you back. It's holding you back in other areas. It's holding you back in your marriage. It's holding you back in other friendships and relationships. It's amazing to me going through how many similarities I saw in some of your letters. A lot of you have financial goals, like real financial goals. A lot of you want to travel more. A lot of you, family is extremely, extremely important to you. A lot of you having an influence, whether it's through books and YouTube channels and business leadership. A lot of you want to have influence in certain areas, specifically in the art world or whatever. You really want to be able to have that influence. A lot of you have charitable goals, things you want to accomplish, and you wrote about them in very strong detail in your letters. By the way, Portia wasn't the only one that had a very detailed letter. Several of you did, but I've gotten her permission, so I shared it. And just like I got Annie's permission to share hers. But what I want you to understand is you've got to first believe where you're going and what you're doing, and then you've got to own the vision. You've got to own the goal, and you've got to recognize that's what you're working towards. And you have to recognize on the days that you make mistakes, we'll use working out. If your goal is to get into shape and today you don't work out, then you have to be honest with yourself. It's no excuse. I'm not getting towards my goal. I made a conscious decision today not to get toward my goal. Now, let me look at what happened in my day today. Let me look for the sprouts in my day today. One of my sprouts is I have a plan to work out tomorrow. That's a sprout. I made a plan to work out first thing tomorrow. Great. Own that. That's good. Otherwise, you end up beating yourself up. I don't mean beat yourself up when I say be honest with yourself, but I'm saying most people are not capable of being honest with ourselves, and it's ourself that is the most difficult to be honest with. We will lie to ourselves far more often than we will anyone else around us. We lie to ourselves and tell ourselves, that it's not that bad or whatever, or, we create excuses for ourselves all the time. So there's one thing to be honest with yourself, but I do not mean beat yourself up. Okay, so that's important that you understand. It's not about beating yourself up. It's just recognizing that, okay, you've got a great calling in your life. That's not important. That's not enough. The great calling is not enough. You will never be forced to live out your calling. Never. Never. You are a human of free wills. So you have a purpose and you have a free will to pursue the purpose or not. And so many of you have such important, life-altering, world-changing purposes. Even your families. Your kids, your grandkids, your great-grandkids. So by focusing on improving and recognizing where you need to improve, you're going to gain the skills that you need to be the grandparent and the great-grandparent that you want to be. That's going to be a matriarch or patriarch of your family. That's going to be able to inspire the family. That's going to be the foundation and create the foundation that the family needs. If you can't figure out how to hold your day-to-day life together, then you're not going to be able to build a rock-solid, inspirational family. So as you learn things like time management, for example, I'm just using that as an example. And by the way, that's a weakness that I have dealt with and I continue to improve with. So in fact, there was a year of my life about 3 years ago where I had one goal for the entire year, only one goal. And that was to master time management, specifically with my business, but time management as a whole with my wife, my kids as well. But I wanted to manage my dial hours and I wanted to be consistent with it. And my only goal was, those of you who've been through First Step Success, was mastering time secrets. That was my only goal. I had someone come to me and said, it was probably in November of that year, October, November that year. He said, hey, what are you looking to do next year? And he was talking about how much money you want to make. And I said, I only have one thing I want to do. I don't care about the money. The money will take care of itself. I want to master time management. That's it. Just master time management. And what I'm telling you is, some of you have so many things that you want to accomplish. When you prioritize what you want to accomplish, don't think that you're minimizing anything else, because the skills that it takes you to accomplish the highest priority goals that you have for yourself, a lot of those skills are going to be needed to accomplish other things. So as you continue to improve and get better in one area and another area, on one goal and another goal and the next goal, those are skills that are gonna basically lateral transfer to the rest of your goals, your dreams, your purpose. But if you create this massive list and you're like, oh, I can't do it, and you're never working towards doing it, then you're gonna struggle. You're going to struggle. And I'll tell you one of the things about Portia. Portia has a lot of areas that she's interested in. She's interested in health. She's interested in beauty. Very different things, by the way, her health and then like skin, hair, and nails. She's interested in health. She's interested in beauty. She's interested in fitness, specific areas of fitness, by the way. She's also interested in cross-stitching. She's interested in her marriage. That's a really important thing. She's also interested in family and having kids and optimizing her ability to be able to do those things. So she's got a lot of interest. And in her case, what can happen is you can get overwhelmed. Oh, musical interest. She loves to play the violin, so she has major musical interests, major musical goals. She has to prioritize what she wants to get accomplished. What are the things that are most important in her life? And ladies and gentlemen, you have to be very real with yourself and ask yourself, why do I want these things? Some of you have written down goals about things that you want to get accomplished because you were told that it should be important to you. And I've hit this every single time in Map Your Destiny, and I can't not hit it today. Some of your goals are about proving yourself, either to yourself or to family members. You are doing your best to become who you think you should be because someone else said you should be that person. And you've got to be very careful, because that doesn't keep you motivated tomorrow. It just doesn't. And what you'll end up doing is you'll end up hopping around from idea to idea. And you always, in the moment, will say, it's okay that I'm hopping around. It's okay that I'm reading this book. I'm doing that thing, taking this class, learning about this, researching that, studying this. And you're not focusing on any one area. Well, I'll just use Portia, for example. You're not focusing on just getting better at the violin, because that's on hold right now. You need to right now focus on your health, because you want to have kids, and being healthy is important. I'm just using her as an example, by the way, because we've talked about some of her goals and we've read her letter. So what can happen is she can hop around from the violin to the health and fitness to her marriage to her business. And she keeps hopping that she's not ever mastering any one thing. So not that you have to only master one thing, but you have to understand that you only have 24 hours in your life, and it's 24 hours. So what are you going to do with those 24 hours? And you've got to become productive with the time that you have. And as she masters certain areas, that same self-discipline is going to translate to those other areas. And that's what I want you to understand. You never improve in a bubble. You never, ever improve in a bubble. Hang on just one moment. By the way, you know what I'm going to do? While I do this, I was going to go turn the, I was chilly a minute ago, so I turned the heat up. I'm going to show you around the condo. We're in the condo here at Polynesian Isle, and this is where I'm working. That's better. I was actually outside on the deck. The deck is awesome. I'll show you that in a moment. Let me come in here. Just a bathroom. It's got a double-headed shower, which is cool. That's a huge shower, by the way. All right, let's keep going. I actually turned the heat up a while ago, just because I could. I would never have done that at home. There's the living room. You can kind of see it. It washes out. Paycheck that's all comes from this way. We'll get back to Map Your Destiny. We're on a scheduled break. This unit is huge, like one of the larger units. You know what? I'll show you this. This is where it's a little bit chilly in Orlando, just like it is everywhere else. Although it feels nice out here right now. I don't know if you can see that. That's huge. It goes all the way to the master bedroom. I don't know. That doesn't do it justice. But this balcony is massive. This lets us $299 for this week. And I finally come to the conclusion I used to not do timeshare presentations because they always offered them to you. And I've never had anyone be mean or a jerk about it. But hang on, here's the kitchen. Kitchen's a good sized kitchen. This is one of the large units I've ever been in. I'm holding the computer up in the corner so you can kind of get an idea of the room. This is one of the large units that I've been in. And then here's the second, but this one has 2 bedrooms. Grandma and the grandbabies. And this is their bathroom. It's just a standard bathroom. But it's a full bathroom. All right. So let me turn there down a little bit. All right. So, I usually don't do timeshare presentations. I finally decided there's no reason not to. We're going to do this one probably Thursday morning early, first thing 8:30 or something, because they give you, like, for this one, my wife negotiated, she's awesome. They give you your choice of a 5-day cruise, which is a similar product that's in our package. And they give you a certificate. And it's a certificate is very similar to the certificate that we use to book this, but it's a $300 value basically they're just giving you for going to their presentation. I will totally do it. The cruise, the lady said she went on the cruise, the lady that had for Ness, she goes, you know what, I've actually been on that cruise, me and my husband, it was 5 days. So it cost us $126. Sign me up. All right, so what is important with your goals is you need to, with your the letter that you have, you need to start talking about it. It needs to become real to you. You need to start talking about it. It needs to be real to you, and you need to be making plans. Like Christine, part of her plans was talking about. She's a good example for this, by the way. All of a sudden, it's funny, you say someone's name, all of a sudden they look up at the camera. So one of she's reaching back, like, she's finding her pencil. So one of the things that's important with Christine, for example, is one part of her letter is talking about her van life. Well, one of her goals is to build her business traveling around, and she's actively working on it. So she's talking about this. People know about this. People in her friends and family. Does she own that? No. Know which one she's going to buy? Yes, because she's been researching 2 or 3 different types. In fact, at one point, it was going to be a small RV. And then she realized, hey, you know what? One of these conversion vans is actually better. And then she started doing some research, and she was like, wow, this is going to be my needs even better. So it becomes a part of her life. When you talk about it, a lot of times people are fearful of what others are going to say. Listen, you've got to talk to somebody about what you're going to be accomplishing. And it doesn't matter if they agree with you or not. You've got to be making plans. You've got to be living your life. It's got to be part of your everyday life. It can't be this thing that someday you're going to suddenly do it. Like if I had a goal to become a surgeon, you don't become a surgeon then announce to the world, guess what? I went through school and I'm a surgeon. That's not how it works. It's impossible to become a surgeon that way. People have to know about it. It has to be real for you. You have to be talking about it. You have to be making plans to do it. Belinda, I hope it's okay that I say this. Belinda's got some really cool goals because I didn't give her permission to talk about this, but she's got some goals in her letter. One of the things that her husband wants to do is he wants to buy a large portion of, I think it was his hometown that has gone downhill. He wants to buy a large portion of this hometown. And he wants to start to basically rebuild it and revive it, and he wants to buy some of the businesses and whatnot. So, you know, hopefully Belinda's been looking at some of these businesses that are for sale. What do they want to sell for? What would it take to buy them? Hopefully her kids know, you know what, we want to one day buy that part of Red Cloud. You know, that's important for the kids to know. It needs to become real. And when people, don't worry about if people agree with you or not. Now, I do agree in protecting your dreams. If you've got someone in your life who's a harsh critic, don't be putting up your dreams in front of and goals in front of your harsh critics. There's people in my life that I don't share what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about right now. Like, I've got very close people in my life who have always told me I was just a dreamer. I was just a dreamer. And by the way, they said I was just a dreamer when I wanted to be a nurse. I had so many people who told me I would never succeed. I would never make it at nursing school. I had nursing students that when I failed out told me I told you so. I had a nursing instructor. Her name is Caroline Phillips. Caroline Phillips told me, she pulled me in her class. She was my first-year nursing instructor, and she asked me, what do you really want to do in your life? And I thought, I don't know. I've never thought about anything other than nursing right now, like at the time. And she pulled me over. She's a real sweet lady. She sits me beside her desk. She's old as molasses, nice. And she goes, I really think you should think about doing something else. Now, mind you, I wasn't doing bad at that point in time in nursing school. I did eventually flunk out, but I wasn't doing bad in that moment. I wasn't doing amazing, but I was middle of the class. And I thought, why would you tell me that? Like, that is horrible. And I think I might have been one of 2 guys in the class. And I don't know if that had anything to do with it. I have no idea. But she told me I should look at doing something else. And I thought, wow, that is horrible. And there are people, when I got started, in Coastal, my brother told me, if you've ever listened to the Why Coastal audio, Stacy from North Carolina is hosting that audio. And he'll tell you in there that he told me that I was an idiot and a moron if I thought this would work. By the way, I don't mind telling you, he's one of the people that I don't share my goals and dreams with. He's my twin brother, but he's very much a concrete thinker. He's very much what's going to happen in the next 30 days, 60 days, what's going to happen in the next 6 months, the next year. There's nothing wrong with that. When he sets out to accomplish something, he's one of the best people I know at getting something accomplished because he doesn't play games with himself. He's very serious when he sets something out, but he can't envision him being able to do. His vision is only so big. Before he started building his coastal business, and by the way, he's one of the most successful coastal directors I've ever known. He's had greater success than even I have. So I don't mean to minimize this, by the way. But one of the things that when he got started, he would have never built a coastal business. He'll say it over and over again. I would have never been a lead. His only goal was to become a firefighter for the city of Biloxi, Mississippi, and to retire on a $30,000 a year pension. That was his goal when he was getting out of the military. He wanted nothing more than that. Nothing. He didn't believe. He didn't have the ability to have the vision. All of you have a vision for your future. He had none of that. He did not have that ability. In some ways, he doesn't have that ability to this day, and he knows it, by the way. He owns it. But anytime that I start to tell him about these big ideas, these big goals, these big plans, unintentionally, he squashes my ideas. So I don't talk them in front of him. My wife, I talk to her about them all the time. And she's like, okay. She just nods her head, okay. Because I've got big goals, big ideas, big visions. And that's okay. But they got to become real for you. You've got to know that you're taking real, measurable steps. Are you talking about it? For example, another thing that I know Belinda wants to do is she wants to open up a home that she's had before, Angels Unaware, I think is what it's called. It's a home to help preteens, and I don't remember if that was the name, but she's done that before. But she wants to do it again, and she wants to do it much better, much bigger, and she wants to expand it. Hopefully, she's done some research to understand what it takes to build it, to grow it, and expand it. And that research, by the way, here's another important thing. That research needs to be done outside of her business hours. You can't be using business time to start learning about what you want to do. You can't be like, if you're Christine, I'm going to research van life, which she's admitted to doing. I'm going to research van life when I should be prospecting. And it makes you feel good because you tell yourself, by the way, I did this with real estate. Before I started investing in real estate, I would tell myself, I need to know this. And then, what I would do is I wouldn't stop, but I would, like, before I was planning to make my dials at 9 o'clock. Well, before you know it, at 9:15, I'm still researching or reading some article on real estate. I learned, no, I'm not going to do that until my afternoon break or in the evening when I'm done, because I have the ability to get on something, get excited, and don't want to stop, and all of a sudden 9:30. The truth is, if I never built my coastal business, I could never actually invest in real estate. If Christine never builds her coastal business, she can't actually succeed at van life. If Belinda doesn't build her coastal business, then they can never have the retirement they want to have, be able to buy Red Cloud, buy the businesses they want to be able to buy. She's never going to be able to open up Angels Unaware. So it doesn't matter how much research you do. Just make sure it's good to do the research, but you need to be doing it in your extracurricular space. If you're not willing to take your time, if you're not willing to use your spare time to learn about things that you say are important to your future, you have to ask yourself, how important is it? How important is it? So make certain that it's real. Do your research. Believe in it. You are the only one that can believe in yourself. No one can make you believe in yourself. Choose to be inspired. Associate with people that are having success. That's part of being on those live calls every single day. You want to be on those live calls, and you need to figure out, what do you need to do this year? Create a goal this year. And it's important that you understand that your goals are not about past, it's not about success, and it's not about failure. It's not about success, it's not about failure. It's just about a target. Some of you are going to create a goal for this coming year, 2019, and you're not going to hit it. It doesn't mean you failed. That is a 98% way of thinking. It doesn't mean you failed. It just means that you found what worked. So let's just say your goal is to make 100 grand, and let's say you make 60. Then you found a way to make $60,000, and you found what you need to do to improve to get to 100,000. You found some areas that you can improve to get to 100,000. You've got to have a target that you're shooting for. Too many people see their goal as a pass or a fail, pass or a fail. No, it's a continual track of improvement, a continual track of improvement. So what is it that you need to do this year? What in the next 12 months with your business? You need to figure that out. Part of it, you're going to have two assignments when this class is done today. One assignment is you're going to look at what you want to, you're going to look at your 1-year goals. And what do you, some of those goals aren't financial. Some of them are financial. Of the ones that are financial, first of all, make them more specific. Add dollar amounts, add timelines to everything that needs a dollar amount and a timeline. Add specifics. I want to get healthier. Okay, what does that mean? I want to work out 3 days a week. I want to work out 6 days a week. I want to work out 30 minutes a day. I want to work out an hour a day. What does that mean? Add specifics to your goals. Specifics are what makes things real. When you start adding specifics, that's when it starts getting real. So over the next 12 months, including now, over the next 12 months, by December 11th next year, what do you need to be able to earn? December 15th, whatever. What do you need to be able to earn to be on track to hit your current goals? To hit your current goals. And yes, of course, do your best to make it a goal that you want to hit, that you think you can hit. Look, if you've been in business for a while, where have you been at? How much have you been able to earn? What have you been able to, on the activity that you've had, what have you been able to accomplish? And then figure it out over the next 12 months where you think you want to go. If you know what you've done in the past 3 months, then of course, you can easily multiply that by 4. You can, add a little bit to it, because I told you that, things don't always occur linear. There is an exponential effect that can take place in your business. Maybe you're like, okay, look, well, if I multiply it by 4, that's still not going to quite get me to where I want to go. Maybe you've made 10 grand in the past 3 months. That's 40 grand, but you want to get to 100 grand. Okay, then at least double your effort. There is an exponential effect that takes place. At least double your effort for what you've done for the past 3 months. Double it and plan to do that for the next 4 months. That will give you a far more accurate target. And that's the best you can do. You've got to create a target, and a target that you feel like you can accomplish. And then it's a matter of working towards that. And then in the next class, we're going to talk about specifics of working towards the goal. But this class, you want to figure out how much income you need to be able to earn over the next year to accomplish your goals. That's the assignment. How much income do you need to earn over the next year to accomplish your goals? And what you want to do is you want to start going through your list. You want to go through that list, and you want to read through it again and start making things specific. This is important. You've got to take ownership of this. This is not an exercise that you're going to finish it, great, done, finished. And I got to be honest with you. I'm just going to be blunt, and I hope I don't offend anyone. I kind of do hope I offend someone. I hope I offend you enough to get you to take this serious. There are a couple of people in this class that if I was going to determine whether you stayed in the class based off the quality of your work, you wouldn't be here. There were some of you that turned in very short lists, very short letters, and it wasn't many. It was a vast minority in the class. That's not taking it serious. That's not making it real. That's doing the minimum to get by. And nobody that I read wants to live a life of minimums. And that is a habit that you have to break. And this is all about you and your goals. If you're not going to take you and your goals serious, then you understand that is clearly why you haven't reached what you want to accomplish. So please understand, this tool is a tool that you're going to use. Once we're finished with this class, you're going to have this, and you're going to be able to use it consistently, weekly, monthly. You're going to recognize where you're at. You're going to be able to take an inventory of what you're doing. You're going to be able to look at your sprouts as your sprouts grow, and your sprouts are going to be falling in line with the things that you want to be able to accomplish. And if you get overwhelmed easily and you're like, I don't think I can do that, then back up, move some. You've got a lifetime to live, and you're going to be on this planet forever until God says you're not. And then most of your earthly goals will not even matter. So under that assumption, assume you've got all of the time in the world to accomplish what you want to get accomplished. And I'm not saying that, I know I've told you before, recognize that time is fleeting and you got to be aware of that. Yes. But what most people do is they get overwhelmed and they do nothing and they end up in a perpetual state of procrastination. So if you are like, oh, my first year goals look too hard, then move some of them around. Does it have to get done this year? Maybe it can get done in the next 3 years. Maybe it can get done in the next 5 years. And I'm not telling all of you to move your goals. I'm not telling you to do that. But if you feel like you get nervous, that nervous thing, because what you'll do is you'll like, okay, I want to do this. This is what I want to accomplish. And then week 1 sucks. I'll do better week 2. Week 2. And by the way, if the whole week goes by and you realize that something sucked, that means that you weren't looking at your sprouts every day. It means you were letting days just move by. Week 2, sucks. Week 3, month 1, crap. Month 2, crap. Oh my goodness. I only got, we only got like basically 1/6 of the year gone, crap, month 3 gone. 25% of the year is gone and I've not accomplished anything on this list. I've not even gotten that much closer to this list. Then if that's where you're at, and what most people do is basically by week 3 or 4 of the year, they just stop. They go to perpetual procrastination mode. So make certain that your list is something that you feel like you can start with. The small victories are the most important. You're going to build belief and grow. You want to see daily victories. That's what your sprouts are for. You want to see weekly things happening. That's part of recognizing your sprouts, but your sprouts are ultimately leading you towards a harvest, and that harvest is your goals, your future, your destiny. Wrapped up in your goals is your purpose. These are your goals. This is your purpose. This is what you're going to accomplish. It's important. You were created to accomplish something great. And many of you, based on your goals alone, have some strong Judeo-Christian faith. Please understand that I sincerely believe outside of our salvation, the greatest thing that we can do is live out the calling that God put us on the planet for. God put you on the planet for a reason. Every day that you procrastinate that reason, I believe, personally, is the greatest dishonor that we can give our God. People always are caught up with, I've got to read my Bible and I got to go to church and I've got to read my Bible, and it gets almost dogmatic. Okay. But what are you doing about living the life that God's put you here to live? He's put you here with a purpose. What is the purpose? Well, look at the desires of your heart. You wrote them on that paper. Your purpose, part of your purpose is at the very least part of your purpose is on that paper. And as you start accomplishing more things and you start getting those first year goals accomplished, and then one day those 3-year goals, you're going to start becoming the person who can live out the purpose that God has in your life. The fullness of your purpose is probably not complete. You probably can't see it all. You probably don't understand it. You probably don't know how you're going to create some charity somewhere. You probably don't know that, but you know that you want to. Well, then move in that direction. One of you wanted to create a charity and you wanted 10 branches across the country. And I thought to myself, that's really fascinating, because by the moment you realize how to open up 10 branches, it doesn't take a lot to figure out how to open up 30, 40, 50, because by the time a business can scale to 10 locations, you know what it takes to scale to 20 locations, 30 locations, 50 locations, potentially worldwide. So that's just an example. Maybe today you're just like, if I can get to 10 locations, I'm good. But God may take you through and you realize you can open up 30 locations, 40 locations. You may realize it's much bigger than just opening up this charity, for example. You may realize that. You may realize it was never about opening up a charity. Maybe it was about, once you figured out the skills needed to run a charity, maybe it was more about, maybe those same skills are to use to expand and grow in business. Or maybe some of you have goals to grow and expand in business. You want a multinational organization. But it wasn't about building a multinational, international business. Maybe it was those skill sets that transformed over to building a multinational, international charity, for example. Just using that as an example. You're not expected to understand the fullness of your vision. You can see in your vision what God has allowed you to see today. You see in your purpose what you're allowed to see today. This is all you can handle. This is all you can handle. How do we know that? Because it's all God's allowed you to see. So we have to first, if we want to know what's next, we have to first move towards what we can see next. And so that's why it's so important that you start making that forward progress. Start owning who you are. What are you going to do this coming year? That's obviously, you know what you want to accomplish the next 30 years and 20 years. And then you know what you want to accomplish the next 10. You know what you want to accomplish the next 5, the next 3, the next 1. I want you to start focusing on what you're going to do in the next year. I want you to start taking steps. If some of you want to open up a charity, what does it take to open up that charity in your location? How much money are you going to need to start and fund that charity? What is it going to take? Start looking into this. You want to build a business? Great. You want to build a large coastal business? Obviously, all of you do. That's why you're on this call. And your business is the vehicle to get you to where you want to go. Your business is a platform and vehicle to so much more. So many of you have goals to be influencers in the world. You want to write books. You want to be able to build businesses. You want to have YouTube platforms. I'm going to tell you right now, become faithful with the little things, become ruler over much, much more. I'm going to give you two examples. Some of you may or may not know a story I heard about Robert Kiyosaki. I don't even know if it's completely true, but it makes sense because Danny Johnson did something similar. Robert Kiyosaki, his first book, if you've ever heard of him, it's Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And my understanding is originally he could not find a publisher for that book. But the book, if you've ever read it, it's inspirational. It's simple to read. It's easy read. It's easy to grab. One of the things that he, in that book, let me write down something I want to forget. Okay, one of the things that he did with that book is he ended up meeting a guy who had a large Amway organization, like Amway, the multi-level marketing, MLM, Amway. And, you know, I don't know, 100,000 people or more were in that organization. It's a large organization. The Amway leader started promoting Robert Kiyosaki's book. They self-published the book, is what I'm told. I don't even know if this is true. I've never looked it up because that didn't matter. The story was inspirational enough to me. But supposedly the book got self-published. They self-published it. They sold a bunch of the books. And then they went to a publisher. And when they went to the publisher was like, wow, yeah, we'll publish your book. They didn't turn them down. Why? Because they already had an audience willing to buy the book. And they proved it. They sold, 50,000 copies or whatever. So the publisher, of course, bought the book because they knew if 50,000 people enjoyed the book, other people were going to probably enjoy the book. They wanted a winner. They published a book for him, and that was the start of it. And now he's got several books. The same thing happened to Danny Johnson. Most of you don't know this. I've been a Danny Johnson client long before she published her first book. I remember praying with a group of clients that had been loyal for a long time. We just all come together, I don't know, 15, 20 of us, and we just prayed over that manuscript when it was nothing but a typed manuscript of Spirit-Driven Success was the first one. And I remember praying that it would go, all over the world in multiple languages. By the way, that's a vision. When we prayed about that, none of us knew another language. None of us knew how to translate the book. We just prayed, right? Danny Johnson didn't know how to translate her book into other languages. She, by her own account, she struggles with the English language, much less Spanish or anything else. But we prayed for it. Eventually, a man by the name of Andres Blanca came along who was a client. By her being faithful with the little things, the thing in front of her, Andres Blanca came along. He's translated the book, I think, in something like 8 languages, 12 languages. And it's sold all over the place. It's in Russian, it's in Latvian, it's in Spanish, I think. It's in a lot of languages that he's translated. By the way, he's done that on his own dime, which is kind of crazy. Who could plan for that? Who could create that? No one. But he's done that. So it's important to understand that just because you don't understand all aspects of your business, you've got to move forward with what you have. But when Danny's book got published, no publishers wouldn't touch her book initially. She had to self-publish it. She sold her first book sales were to her own clients. Same thing. When she sold 20,000 books or whatever, all of a sudden publishers was like, what? You sold 20,000 books? Yeah, we'll publish it. And then they published her book. It's because of her influence. It's because she was trusted with the little things that eventually she became ruler over much, much more. I've got another friend of mine who is in the entertainment business. She's a comedian, but her biggest talent, which I don't even know if she understands what her biggest talent is not her ability for comedy. It's that she acts as a booker in the comedic world. She has access to a lot of different talents, some of them that you personally would know, people that have been on like Last Comic Standing, Showtime, HBO, all those places. And so she's able to book these talents, these comedians. And she's always blown away. And I'm like, I don't think she gets it. She's always blown away at how many places want her to come and book out their hall. But what she doesn't understand, so she'll be like, wow, they're giving me a great deal. And she gets to keep all the ticket sales. They get the alcohol and the food sales. Alcohol and food sales is much more than ticket sales. But she's blown away. Wow, I can't believe that I get this huge hall and they're going to only charge me $300 or $400. And this place holds 2,000 people. I can't believe, they're going to let me, you know, she had a big theater in town that recently reached out to her. They want her to have the entire theater, and they're only going to charge her $400, and she's all excited. She had another guy approach her about opening up a comedy club. He would open up the comedy club. He would do everything. She basically had to run the comedy portion. She sees this as a great opportunity, and it is an opportunity, but she's missing her value. The value is her influence. The value is that people go. When she promotes a comedy show, they go. The value is comedians want to work for her. She just had Rocky Lepore and Mark Ridley's comedy club in Detroit, Michigan. She tried to get on. She tried to work. She had one spot available that she could work this coming year, 2019, for Mark Ridley. And she was contacted and said, hey, you were going to do this charity event for us. We're going to move the dates. Basically, we don't need you to do the charity event. That's what she was told by Mark Ridley himself in the comedy club. Rocky Lepore, massive comedian. Everybody wants Rocky Lepore. He's one of those in high demand comedians if you're booking talent. He goes to the comedy club. He says, I'll come. These are my requests. This is how much you're going to pay me, blah, 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 blah. And I want Melissa, this comedian, to open for me. All of a sudden, she gets a phone call. Mark Ridley, same guy who said, hey, we didn't need you. He's like, hey, who Rocky wants, Rocky gets. So she's going to open for Rocky. So the point is, it's the contacts that she has. It's the influence that she has. Comedians love her because she gives them work. They will work with her for less money than some other big comedy club because that comedy club is a one-off gig. But they know if they work with her, she can book them 2 or 3 or 4 times throughout the year. She has influence, and it's her influence that is the most value. Right now, in your coastal business, no matter what your goals are, you have influence right now. You want to start a charity? Some of your first donors may be people who you help build a successful business. You want to write books? Some of your first some of your first readers and buyers are going to be some of the people that are in business with you. Don't overlook what's in front of you because you think that it's not big enough yet. If Danny Johnson would have never took her little MLM serious enough, her weight loss thing serious enough, if she would have never taken it serious enough, she wouldn't be who she's at today. She wouldn't have never had a book published because it was her own clients. If you go all the way back, started out with because of that little business, she would have the training company today had it not been who she became in that little business. I say little business, that business netted her more than $1 million, but you know what I'm saying. A lot of people keep it as a little business. A lot of people never succeed with it. Your business is the vehicle sitting in front of you right now. The context is going to take you to the next step in your life. The money, the people, the influence is you're in a position to build it right now. Not to mention your leadership skills are going to get built right here, right now. You want to lead a charity? You want to lead a family? It takes leadership skills. You think you're struggling in business because it's not the right fit? No, it's some sort of skill that you're missing, and it's a skill that you're going to continue to use, and you're going to need that skill in your next step, and your next step, and your next step of your life, the next promotion. You want to accomplish something in 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years? I love people that have said, hey, I've struggled for so many years in the business, and I'm finally having success. And that's part of Belinda's story. It's part of Diane's story. You know, these are women who have been in the home business industry for years, but they never gave up. People look at Diane in Ontario, and they're like, wow, she made money so fast. No, she didn't make money fast. She failed for 15 years in the home business industry, basically ending up in the hole if you look at all the money she spent and all the money she made. About to lose everything. She starts building her coastal business, and yes, she blew it up in her first 30 days. But part of that was because she had been used to reading scripts, following some sort of a system. Most importantly, she had a work ethic from day one. That was probably her biggest asset because she had been working for years trying to get something off the ground that wouldn't succeed. She got started in day one. No one had to tell her to put 30 people in the pipeline in her first week. Nobody had to tell her that. She didn't need you to tell her that might get you to a 6-figure income. She didn't need you to tell her that. All she knew is she had to succeed. She had free time available. The most important thing in front of her was to use her time wisely. She used her work ethic. She went to work. She made it happen. That girl was probably putting 50, 60 people in the pipeline every single week, and probably even more sometimes. Yes, she was working a lot, but she was serious about what she wanted to accomplish in that moment. She was serious about that goal. So I'm telling you, you need to get serious about whatever your goals are, whatever's in front of you. Now, I'm going to open up lines for questions here in a moment, but the three assignments. First is you want to calculate what you need to earn over the next 12 months to be on track to hit your 1-year goals. Make those goals specific, very specific. By the way, go through all of your goals and make them as specific as you can. But make those goals, especially the 1-year goals, the more closer term goals, need to be the most specific. They need to be with the ones you have the most clarity on. That's key. In order for your vision to become, imagine looking, those of you who've ever shot a gun, if you're looking through a scope or just a regular sight, if that sight is blurry, you can't tell what you're going to hit. If you can't see the target is your goal. That's what you're aiming at. That is the goal. But in order for you to be able to see that target clearly, the sight has to be clear. So as clear, as specific as you can make those goals, you need to make them. And if you want to hit a target that's challenging and it's way out there, then that's fine. But your goals have to be that much more clear. And if you want to, if you're like, oh, I just want to, if I can just accomplish this little bit this year, I'll be happy. Great. It still needs to be clear. You still have to be able to look through the sights and see what you're aiming at. You've got to be able to see clearly what you're aiming at. And part of the clarity of your goals and is what starts making them very real for you. I would encourage you, some of you need to start journaling. You need to start talking about your goals. Whatever you need to do, your goals need to become very real to you. You need to understand that your entire life is about accomplishing that mission. I hope that's not a ticket, Christine just got. But your goals need to be all about. Your life needs to be all about the goals that you're looking to accomplish. And if your life's not about your goals, if your life's not about your purpose, and you don't feel comfortable saying that, then you don't have the right purpose. You don't have the right goals. Everything that you do, whether it's waking up in the morning to work out, whether it's getting your office at 8 a.m. to start making phone calls, whether it's waking up at 7 a.m. to listen to personal development, and that's obviously if you're on the East Coast or whatever, but whatever, if it's listening to personal development in the afternoon or the evening, if it's making sure when you're driving that you're listening to it, whatever it is, you've got to be serious about what you're accomplishing. Listen, I got convicted on this personally when one of my skill sets that I've been weak on in the past is I've been weak on warm prospecting, going out and about, meeting people. I would form people, but I would never get their phone number. And I've gotten so much better at that in the past few months because I've made it an intention. I realized, you know what? If I'm going to be good at leading people, then I have to be willing to lead people wherever I meet them at. So I can't wait to be convenient for things to be convenient for me to start leading people. So leading people towards changing their life, changing their future is as great a way to lead people in the greatest direction to lead people as possible. So I made it a point to start forming people and to start getting phone numbers, start calling people back. I didn't care if they didn't give me their phone number. I didn't care if they weren't there for the follow-up appointment when I called them. I didn't care if they didn't go to the live call. It was about getting out of my comfort zone and start connecting with people and start getting those phone numbers. I'll get better at the other skills, which the other skills are fine because if you track numbers, lukewarm prospects are hotter than anything you could ever spend your money on and buy by far. You just don't get enough of them. You don't get 20 a day is what I'm saying, or 30 a day. So you need to start making your goals specific. And to include this, I want to become real for you. I want you to do something. I want you to start creating a dream board. Start cutting out pictures, putting these pictures up. And I want this to be things. If there's a house you want to live in, a car you want to drive. One of you did this, Janet. Janet actually typed up her letter and she included pictures in her letter. She said, "Hey, look, remember this car Dad used to drive?" And she had that old car in a picture. And then she's like, "Hey, do you remember?" She said, "This is the new version. This is the car I drive now." And she had a picture of that. And then she talked about a house. She talked about the house they were living in, how they were remodeling it. And she showed a picture of what she wanted that to look like when they finished remodeling it. And that's starting to make your vision clear for you, very clear for you. When you know what your vision is and you're working towards it, everything starts to work itself out. And it's important, first and foremost, that you have an extremely clear vision. So start putting together a dream board. Start cutting out pictures that show the life that you want to live. If you want to have a big family, then find a picture of the biggest family that you can and put them on your dream board. It's not about a thing of greed. A lot of people can see dreams board as being a thing of greed, and I've hit that ad nauseum in this class. It's about you having a picture of what you're working towards, and it's about taking every step possible to make that real for you. The other thing that I want you to do is I want you to look for the book Mach 2. I think it's Mach 2 with Your Hair on Fire. Hang on, I'll look it up real quick on Amazon. I might be able to share that. I'm going to find it. Hang on. Well, if you have any goals, if you have any questions, jot them down. I'll open up for questions in a moment. I want you to see this book. It's a very small book. It's an easy read. Here it is. See if I can share this. All right, there you go. This is the book, Mock to the Art of Vision and Self-Motivation. I want you to look this book up. It's a really good book. It's easy read. I want you to grab this book, look it up. You can get it on Kindle for $9.99, paperback $20.95. I want you to put it in your planner, whatever, make a plan to read this book. It's an excellent book, Mock to with your hair on fire. And it basically talks about what holds people back, things like that. It talks about vision, some of the stuff we've talked about. It's just a great book that goes in line with what we're talking about. If you've ever read the book before, because I've recommended it before, I want you to read it again, but I want you to read it again having a full understanding of your Map Your Destiny tool. I need to call that something, but the Map Your Destiny tool that you're creating. Part of that tool, by the way, is going to be your dream board. And I do encourage you to put that, I mean, you can make it any size or whatever you want, but I do encourage you putting that somewhere in your office or in your bedroom where you're going to see it and own it and understand that's what you're working for. When things get tough, that's what you're working for. When things, that's why you keep going. When things aren't easy, that's what you're working towards. If it's about getting in shape, what kind of physique do you want? Take a picture of that. And when that workout's hard, that's what you're working towards. But then it becomes owning the identity. You have to own the identity. If it's fitness, you have to start seeing yourself as someone who's fit, who's becoming fit. You have to start creating that identity of, I'm someone who works out. I'm someone who eats right. And once you start owning that identity, you're going to have far more success at reaching that goal. Same thing in your business. You have to know that you're a successful business person who doesn't waste time. You work for yourself so you can, lollygag in the morning and eat breakfast and everything else, and you can finally start at 10:30. That's what part-time business builders who make a little bit of money but never accomplish anything great do. And they talk about how amazing that life is. And there's nothing wrong with that. If that's your goals, if that's the vision for yourself. But if it's about accomplishing something extraordinary in your business, building a large business, a six-figure income, a multiple six-figure income, if it's about building a national, international business, then you're up in the morning in your office and you're up at 8 a.m. and you're going to work. Or if you're working a job, you get home, you plan to be in the office at 5, you're in the office at 5 o'clock. You're getting it done. Even if you don't feel like getting in the office at 5 o'clock. Why? You look at that dream board, that's why. It's what you talk about. It's what you talk about with your spouse. It's what you're working towards. It's who you're becoming. You're listening to personal development. You're listening to Danny Johnson. You're listening to whatever. You don't feel like it. You want to listen to the music in the car, but you decide, you know what? I want to pull up this video or pull this audio. I want to listen to this. Why? Because it's who you're becoming. It's what you're working towards. Now, I'm not telling you not to take time off, but if you know you're taking time off, you have that time off planned. Look, I'm going to be off tomorrow afternoon with the kids and the family. I don't feel guilty about that. That's planned. Part of the reason I'm doing what I'm doing is so I can take that time off. But tomorrow morning, I'm going to be going to work, and I'm going to be working diligent as I have planned tomorrow morning. I hope that's making sense to you. Why? Because I'm very clear, and I'm getting clear all the time. That's important. Your vision, your goals will become clearer with time as you work towards them. That's important that you understand that. So the assignment is figuring out, make your goal specific for your first year, figure out what you want to accomplish in your very first year, and start creating a dream board for yourself. Vacations you want to take, life you want to live, things you want to accomplish, whatever can remind you, a house you want to live in, some of you want to have cars and boats and homes, pictures, put them up there. Some of you want charities. Okay, either have a picture of another charity or picture of, if you want to help, kids getting rescued from the sex slave industry, then find either a charity doing that, put their picture up there. Find a charity, you got a charity, they got a picture of, some starving child in Africa, and that's what you want your charity to do, then take that starving picture of that poor child. Don't let their life be in vain. Put that on your dream board, and knowing whether you can help that child or not, you're going to help hundreds or thousands or 10,000 more just like him or her. And own the dream board, own the vision. This isn't just an exercise that makes you feel good and tickles your desire to dream. And that's, you know, in fact, maybe we're not going to call it a dream board. It's a vision board. It's a vision board. There's a big difference in your dream board and your vision board. All right. So we're going to come back. I'm going to open up the lines for any questions or comments about anything at all. Please hit the *7 key. Feel free to step a *7. Sorry, just unmute your line. We're not on the conference call. Just unmute your line if you have any questions or comments about anything. Please step up. Oh, I probably should have to, hang on. I gotta make sure I do my part over here. Okay, I think you guys are unmuted. All right, just, I think you're able to unmute yourself. Let me make sure that's correct. I'm new to this whole Zoom thing. Oh, manage participants, there we go. Okay, I think you can unmute yourself. If you have any questions or comments, just give me your name and let me know where you're calling from. Any questions on the assignment? Can you guys hear me? Okay, hang on a minute. Oh, mute all. There we go. Now, there you go. I found the setting. Allow participants to unmute themselves. Okay, I did that. So if you're trying to unmute yourself, now you can unmute yourself. If you have any questions or comments, please just step up with any questions or comments that you have and just let me know where you're calling in from. Joni just sent me a group chat. I didn't know you could do that, Joni. I'm muted, but if you see this, I just want to say thank you. You're very welcome. All right. Is there anyone else? All right, then. We will wrap up. Let's see. Is Susie on the line? So if you're on the line, you're able to unmute yourself. Please do so. I want to make certain that I was able to address your question if you heard it. Sue, can you hear me? Sue, say hello, Sue. I don't know if Sue's not able to open up her line. I just lost you. She said I just lost you. No, don't. Come back. I'm not seeing this. Hey, Sue, are you there? Looks like your line's open. Can you hear me? Yes, Janet. Wow, you guys can't. Hang on a minute. Let me figure something out. Let me figure something. Okay, you're all unmuted. Please mute yourself if you don't want to step out. I don't know if the unmute yourself things was not working. You're all unmuted, so please unmute yourself. Janet, yes, thank you. So assignments due Monday night at midnight.
Monday.
Yep. I'm sorry, Saturday at midnight. Saturday at midnight. Saturday at midnight. Thank you.
You can hear me, can you, Jackie?
Yeah, who's this?
Janet.
Hey, Janet. Yep, I can hear you. Now I can.
Right.
Yep. All right. Sue, are you there?
Christine in Georgia.
I'm here.
Hang on. Sue, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you just fine. Did you hear, were you at the beginning of the class? Did you hear what I said?
Unfortunately, I was not. I was dialing, and then I didn't realize the call was at that time, so I missed the first part.
Okay. Go and, this is getting recorded. The recording will be up later today or tomorrow morning in the Facebook group. Listen to it. The very first thing that I did was address some of your concerns about your numbers.
Okay. Oh, wonderful. Thank you.
You're very welcome. And Christine, did I hear you?
Yes, you heard me.
Hi, Chris.
Hi. So I get to take you on my journey of picking all of these 3 kids up from school every week at this time. So my bunch is in the car. Say hello, guys.
What do you got, like a school bus, Christine, or what's going on?
Yeah, I have to pick all three of them up from school at this time every Tuesday and Thursday. So I get to sit in the carpool line for an hour and a half or so and wait for them and give them snacks, and then we get to go home and have fun.
Awesome.
So that's what we're heading to. But I wanted to be clear. Okay, you gave 3 different assignments. What exactly is due on Saturday? Like you said, do the vision board. Like, are we making a vision board, and are we taking a picture of it and sending it to you, or how are we doing that?
That's awesome. No, that's a great idea. I just want you to figure out. I want you to make your first year goals more specific, and I want you just to email me what you need to be able to earn. Obviously, you make the goals more specific, but in there, around those first year goals, I want you to, how much do you need to be able to earn in your first year to accomplish those goals? Buy the book, Mach 2, and start reading it and start making your dream board. But what you're going to turn into me is just going to be your first year. The money you need to earn your first year. That's pretty straightforward.
That's it? Okay. I've already got the book, so I guess I got to read it again. And it was awesome. I love that book, so I don't mind reading it again. We're good.
It's a pretty easy read.
It is an easy read. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Anyone else? All right. Hey, listen, I love working with all of you. I love doing this Map Your Destiny class. It's awesome. I really enjoyed reading your letters. I love what I feel that God has called each of you to so many unique things, but at the same time, it's extraordinary to see that we're all working towards a purpose that is so similar. Like if you all could read all the letters, what you'll notice is there's a lot of overlap. Like some of you, your purpose in life is radically different than mine, but it's like that 6 degrees of separation. You know, maybe I overlap a lot with Christine, and she overlaps a lot with Sue, and Sue overlaps a lot with, Gary, and Gary overlaps a lot with Janet, and Janet, with Joni, and Joni overlaps a lot with Janet, sort of thing. And it just it's interesting how we all just kind of overlap. And it's when you get together a few people and you start finding out their goals and dreams and visions and purposes that they want to be able to live that are going to create their destiny, you start realizing there's just this confirmation that yes, we were all designed to do something extraordinary because it's so different. But by just the 10 or so of us in this class alone, just by us accomplishing our goals and our dreams, just this small, less than a dozen people, just by us accomplishing our visions, our purpose, reaching our goals, living out our dreams, by just us doing that, you would recognize that this small group of people will have a profound impact on the entire world that we live in, the entire world, 6 billion people, by just 10 to 12 of us accomplishing what we wrote down, which nobody wrote down anything impossible. Not one person wrote down anything that was impossible. But by just all of us accomplishing what we wrote down, each one of us will make our own impact, our own difference. Literally, just 10 to 12 people can transform the entire face of the planet. And if you think about it, in today's modern age, there's less than 20 people that have transformed the entire world that we already live in. Think about that. That's extraordinary. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a privilege to be here. I'm going to be hosting the calls tonight. I look forward to hearing you on the new associate call. Thank you so much for being in this class. Thank you so much for pouring into these assignments. Some of you are putting so much effort into these assignments. I love it. And I'm looking forward to what happens to you over the next 12 months, 2019. Thank you so much. Have a great day, everyone.